Hello and welcome to Box Hill Institute's very first virtual open day, and more particularly our presentation on VET delivered to secondary students, known by the acronym VETDSS. For those of you that would like more information after this presentation, there will be information on our open day platform, but you can also visit www.boxhill.edu.au, where you can type in VETDSS into the search function at the top of the homepage, and you will be taken to our 2021 guide and our application process, which you can send to your career practitioner at schools and begin the application process for next year. As way of introduction to Box Hill, for those of you who may not be acquainted with us, we are one of the largest TAFEs in Australia, and we offer everything from short courses to certificates, diplomas, advanced diplomas, bachelor's degrees and postgraduate qualifications, and even a new product suite that we call micro-credentials as well. We have 3 campuses, one in Box Hill, one in Lilydale, and one in the heart of the city at De Grave Street, and we export our course offerings to many countries around the globe. We are heavily focused on skills-based training or practical training, and what that means is that we prepare students to confidently step into a workplace on day one and to be able to behave safely and productively in that environment. We work hand in hand with industry to produce our certificates and our courses, and we really try to identify the skills required that are essential to that course and also the skills of the future as well. As way of introducing myself, my name is Andrew Lawler. I'm the manager of VETDSS, and I'm also the manager of what's called the Schools Relationship Unit. From a VETDSS perspective, we have had close to 2,200 students visit us this year to study a VETDSS course from over 200 secondary schools. And from a Schools Relationship Unit perspective, we have another 800 schools that send us their students so they can have an experience of the TAFE environment and what work might be like in a particular industry. One of the ways we like to do that is to have campus tours, presentations, and then move students into the classroom and into our state-of-the-art facilities where they can try things from a hands-on perspective. So last year, before COVID, we would have had students undertaking flight simulations, undertaking augmented reality welding, remixing tracks in our state-of-the-art music facility, or even preparing dishes in a commercial kitchen. It's all about showing students what pathways might be available to them and letting them realise that they can actually achieve in many different areas and that there are different ways to learn and to progress through your career. Specifically on VETDSS, this is perhaps one of the greatest innovations in the education sector in the last 25 years and is receiving increasing government funding from the state government to the tune of $76 million recently so that we can expand our offerings and accept more students. The reason for that is that we offer courses that you would not be able to undertake in a traditional secondary school. A secondary school will be able to offer English, maths, sciences, psychology, legal studies and the like, but they can't offer the facilities or the teaching experience required to deliver courses such as equine studies, hair and makeup, all the traditional trades such as auto, plumbing, electrical and building construction, engineering studies, outdoor recreation, laboratory skills even. We have the investment not only in the best teachers, but also in the state-of-the-art environments that allow us to simulate workplaces and to be able to deliver hands-on training. The beauty of these offerings most recently is the fact that they have been integrated into either the VCE certificate or the VCAL certificate. So no matter which stream that you're undertaking in year 11 and 12, you will have a course that supports that and is basically just like any other subject. So for instance, with our VCE VET programs, they can be used in your top 4 subjects to achieve your ATAR. And then we have VCE VET subjects that can be used as your 5th or 6th subject, which will give you an increment towards your ATAR. From a VCAL perspective, all of our courses can be used to get your 90-hour blocks to be awarded your block credit recognition. And we also have another product offering that I'd like to talk about, which is school-based apprenticeships, which is perfect for students that want to start working 1 day a week, would like to have some TAFE experience 1 day a week, but also remain in the school-based environment for 3 days a week as well. So if you're itching to get out the door and earn up to $3,000 a year, but you know you need to keep studying and to get your VCE or VCAL, this is a great option in the marketplace as well. To give you a little bit of background on the education market and how it's evolved recently, I thought this slide set might be great for parents, but it will also be good for years 7, 8, 9 and 10 students that are starting to think about how it all comes together. Traditionally, the education sector has been divided into 3 distinct silos, and they didn't really interact too well with one another. You would sequentially do your education. You'd finish year 10 or year 12, you'd move on to TAFE, and then you'd get a job, or you'd move on to university and then get a job. You wouldn't move between them. But with VETDSS, we now have the option to do that. So we have secondary education with the boxes year 7 through to 12. We have vocational education, which is TAFE, and we have higher education, which is university. Starting with secondary education, which many of the people viewing this presentation will be in, you obviously leave primary school, you start in year 7, you build up to year 10. 20 or 30 years ago, you could leave year 10 and you could move into a job, and that job you would keep for life, and it was a legitimate pathway to income and to a good life. Recently, however, the data is starting to tell us that this is not the case, and that you are placing yourself at a financial disadvantage for the whole span of your working life if you do so. The minimum requirement by industry today is a year 12 completion, whether that be a VCE certificate or a VCAL certificate. And the numbers are quite convincing. For instance, if you leave year 10, you will earn a higher income for the first couple of years, but that income won't grow over the course of your working lifetime. Whereas if you finish year 12 and complete further education, your income or wage will keep growing over and over and over again, to the point that you will earn hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of more than a student that leaves in year 10. So really, year 12 is the benchmark for all students within Victoria, but we want to offer more ways of learning, more outcomes and more pathways in our learning, because we understand that people learn differently. They have different strategies and different objectives and different ways that they would like to do things. One of the ways is through VET delivered to secondary students, and that allows you in years 10, 11 and 12 to undertake a certificate 2 or 3 within the TAFE environment. As I said before, these certificate 2s or 3s you can consider to be like any other subject in years 10, 11 and 12. They can produce an ATAR for you, they can support your ATAR, or they can give you the hours required for your VCAL. If you would like to stay in TAFE and continue on, they build sequentially into a certificate 4, then through to a diploma or an advanced diploma. But the beauty now is that a diploma can be used, if you complete it successfully in the first year, to be granted access into an undergraduate degree that's linked to it. So there is no barrier to entry from a university anymore. If you finish year 12 and have an ATAR, you can go directly into university. If you don't finish year 12 with an ATAR, you can go into TAFE and still get access to higher education university through the diploma, going straight into an undergraduate degree. In fact, many people are being very strategic about this now and have decided that they want their VCE, but they want a 1-year diploma, which gives them a nationally recognised qualification that allows them also to enter into the second year of their undergraduate degree. So they haven't actually lost any time compared to their contemporaries that left year 12 and went straight into university. The difference is they have an additional qualification that they can put on their resume, and they've had a different set of experiences as well. In fact, the latest data from Deakin University said that students that move from a diploma into their undergraduate degree actually outperform those students that move straight into year 12. And that's because a TAFE environment mirrors a secondary school environment in the small class sizes and the level of instruction between teacher and student that a university just can't do in large lecture theatres. So it's something that all manner of students are considering. What you get out of VETDSS is really quite great. You get a nationally recognised qualification that means that you can start work as soon as you have that qualification in up to 500 jobs throughout Australia. It is heavily skills-based and practical, so you know exactly what you need to do and how to do it when you get into those environments, which just builds confidence and builds ability. It is specialised to a particular industry, so that employer knows what they're getting when you have a Box Hill certificate. And of course, because of that, it has employment opportunities and financial rewards that are now eclipsing traditional university pathways. So, for instance, in the last couple of years, students that have graduated from the TAFE sector have earned more on average than their contemporaries in a university completing an undergraduate degree. And that if they keep adding their qualifications on top, there's no reason why they can't keep pace with university students as well. The point of difference between doing a VETDSS course at Box Hill as opposed to smaller RTOs or other RTOs is the outcomes that we produce to the students and what we wrap around our course as well. So traditionally, you could leave university and not be given a job for 12 months, and your chance of landing a job within the first 6 months can be as little as 65%. At Box Hill, our certificates achieve an 85 to 95% employment uptake within the first 6 months of completing their course. And again, this is because we have simulated work environments, we have the industry relationships to make sure that students know how to perform on day one of entering a workforce, and this obviously attracts employer attention. Regardless, if you're not looking at job outcomes, but you purely want that ATAR to go on to university, the other real point of difference is that our subjects achieve very high study scores for our subjects. We produce Premier's Award winners, and we produce students that achieve in the top 10% of the state. So a lot of our students will get their highest study score from our subject rather than a traditional school subject. And that is usually to do with the fact that these courses are much more up someone's alley or of interest, and they really take to them and devote more time and attention to them. So if you want to have an eye on your ATAR while still getting a certificate, while still keeping your options open, Box Hill Institute really is a great place of learning. And as I mentioned before, the other thing that we're keen to do with VETDSS is that we wrap around special workshops and skills-based training provided by the Skills and Jobs Centre of Victoria that allows our students to build their resumes, build their work experience, and build their confidence in communication and teamwork and the 21st century skills of critical thinking and strategic thinking that's required to get on in the workplace of the future. As an example of some of the students that have gone through TAFE, I thought I'd put together a selection of students that have done VETDSS and gone on to do further study at TAFE and how successful they've been in the marketplace. So Tess Whitford, who's our first smiling candidate, originally did equine studies with us, but decided it wasn't for her. However, she completed the course, but then went into fashion. From there, she graduated a bachelor course of fashion and went on to win awards not only in Melbourne, but in Singapore and around the world, and has recently released her own label of clothing that has got Chinese manufacturers and Asian manufacturers trying to sign her up to business deals. Veronica Reynoldson is someone that likewise went in and did VETDSS, but did fashion straight off. And she did that because she didn't really feel an affinity with the subjects that were provided in her secondary school environment. She's now working in the fashion industry, and she's someone that we're keen to bring back into our young incubator program to help further progress her studies, but also progress some of our students as well. Georgia Filippo, in the middle of this slide set, is a highly accomplished musician that didn't decide to go to a conservatory of music or to a university setting because she didn't want to just focus on her instrument, which was the drums originally. She wanted to learn how to mix her own music, how to produce an album, how to market her own album, and how to work with a variety of other musicians as well. She's been awarded a number of scholarships, being the ARIA Scholarship is the most prominent one, and she's now seen in ad campaigns and concerts all around the world. Dan Sparks is an interesting guy who originally was doing engineering at university but found it not to be to his liking and chose to do graphic design at Box Hill Institute. He went on to be one of the most successful art directors in the world and was awarded a nomination to the 25 top art directors in the world. He's run successful and awarded campaigns in New York, London, and even in Australia. And he's now an artist in his own right. And then finally, we have Indy Hengen, who did building construction from a Certificate 2 level and built up to a Certificate 4 level, did some advanced degrees as well, and now pioneered what is called tiny homes. He's brought a high level of aesthetic design to these miniature homes. He's featured in prominent design magazines and architectural magazines. He works out of Bayswater and employs up to 20 apprentices. So I guess what's common about these students is they decided on a pathway that was true to them. They devoted themselves to it, and now they're actually reaping recognition in the larger industry as well as giving back to the local community. So VETDSS really is a pathway for students to explore how they learn, what they want to learn, and what they might be interested in. It gives great confidence and great surety out in the marketplace. It allows them more pathways into work and more pathways into university than you would have in potentially just a secondary school environment. And so it's a great way of complementing your secondary school. As I said earlier in this presentation, if you'd like more information, please visit our website and type in VETDSS. However, the Schools Relationship Unit is on the virtual open day platform at the moment and is available to take any and all questions you have, whether it is about how we price it, what's involved in a course, how much time it takes, what days the courses are run. Any and all questions you have can be answered today, or we can follow up with you later. Importantly, the virtual open day platform will stay open all year, so you can come back and revisit this presentation or look for more information, further investigate pathways after VETDSS as well. I hope this has been of some information to you, and I look forward to seeing you if you're in year 10 or 11 or 12 at Box Hill next year. Thanks for your time.